Hello, Dr. Elmer again, Advanced Neurospinal Solutions, and I wanted to do a video on the coronavirus. Very interesting, the things that have been happening in our world, and particularly in our country, things here locally. Very interesting on the misconceptions and the hysteria that has surrounded it. The indications of how communicable the problem is. Well, there's no doubt about that. We can get it. We can pass it to each other. We tend to get things when our immune system is down. That's going to be another thing we're talking about in just a second here. But the statistics are fairly excellent for it, because 80% of people who actually get it won't even know they got it. And of those 20%, only 1% will have problems. And those people, we tend to say they're the elderly and those who have other conditions and problems and the immunosuppressed. Well, we can actually put those all in one category. That's immunosuppressed. If their immune systems are down, they tend to not be able to fight it. Well, it's actually the flu or influenza is much worse in terms of death rate, and it attacks everybody. Our kids seem to be safe from this. Those up to 30 seem to be very, very strong and healthy against it. It's those who are above that, and particularly those above 70. And then anybody who has heart conditions or other things. So the hysteria is amazing. It's way blown out of proportion. And I'd like to talk about the physiology of hysteria, though. What happens in your body that causes you that cause you to have hysteria? It's release of stress hormones, and they're bad stress hormones, not good stress hormones. When you believe something is going to be bad or going to hurt you, you believe your way into a bad series of hormones. I call it a neuroendocrine cocktail, or a cocktail of hormones that is degrading to the system, that is harsh to the system. And the physiology is not conducive to having a healthy immune system. When you believe you're strong, and when you've done things to make yourself strong, now you can believe whatever you want, right? You can believe in Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy. Oh, sorry, I didn't know if I gave that away to any of you. But if you believe in something that's not true, I mean, that's kind of idiotic. But if you believe that you're healthy and you're not truly taking care of yourself, that's just plain ignorance. But in terms of how do we deal with this, what's the real problem and how do we deal with it? Number one, the real problem is hysteria. But the problem with the virus itself is not the virus, it's our immune systems. How are we taking care of our immune systems? That should be the real concern. And we should have been taking care of them all along, but if not, what's the old proverb, the Chinese proverb, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time to plant a tree? Now, right now. And so, right now, if you haven't been taking care of your immune system, let's start now. Let's start also with caution. Let's use wisdom in what we're doing. Let's wash our hands. Let's wipe down surfaces. If we're in contact with people who've been abroad recently, get checked, especially if you're feeling symptoms. But keep in contact with those people, because if they're coming up with the virus, get checked. But otherwise, don't clog up the system. Don't freak out, right? Because even if you were to get it, you're likely not to have a problem with it. So the other thing is caution in terms of taking care of your family, making sure that they're safe, but not going into the hysteria that we see today. When we talk about the immune system, what are the things that can immediately be helpful? Sleep, number one. Make sure you're getting the right amount and the right kind of sleep. If you're staying up too late, if you're getting up too early, and I much more worry about staying up too late than getting up early. But particularly, if you're not getting the right kind of sleep, get some help in the area of the sleep. Initially, some people will try supplements to help them sleep, and that's fine, but don't want to do that long term because it'll teach your brain not to. Melatonin and valerian root and some of those things can be helpful short term, but it will teach your brain not to do it, and that. So we want to find an answer. Nutrition, making sure you're getting the right amounts of carbs, fats, and proteins. Most people are not getting it. They're getting way too much in the way of carbs, and they're not getting nearly enough in terms of good fats and good proteins. In order for your brain to work, you got to go through what's called immediate early gene response, which means we have to do cellular housekeeping within the cell, and so we need to replace those bad things that go bad. Also, I recommend highly vitamin C powder, 5,000 units a day. If you think you might get sick, I know when I don't get sick hardly ever, because when I start to feel tired or down or even a little tiny bit of weakness, I'm immediately doing 5,000 units every day, powdered C, and you store it in orange juice. That way it's just a tart orange juice, because otherwise it's pretty potent stuff to drink in water, to get down in water. Also, grapefruit seed extract is excellent. Some people like the pills. I like the drops. My wife likes the pills better. I feel like the drops get into the bloodstream faster and follow directions on the label. And those things are about the connective tissue. The connective tissue is part of that is blood. Blood is connective tissue, and it's a major component of the immune system. So it's going to beef up your immune system powerfully. A lot of people, when they're getting sick, they'll do that, and it'll knock it down really fast because it speeds up the immune system. Also, breathing exercises. Breathing exercises are great for getting things functioning. I recommend the Wim Hof method. You can look it up online. One of his methods, he has you breathe rapidly in succession as deeply as you can to create hyperventilation. You're increasing you're changing the pH so it becomes more alkaline. That's the way our bodies should be, because we should be eating a lot of particularly vegetables. That causes us to be in a more alkaline environment. Whereas bacteria, fungi, viruses tend to like to live in acidic environments, which is what we tend to create, but in our diets and in our habits. So, but if we could turn it into alkaline, that tends to be the first line of defense. But after anything gets through the skin, it's going to be killed by the alkalinity. It also juices up the immune system. I recommend that. Also, he recommends cold showers, and that seriously jacks up the immune system, jacks up the hormonal system, jacks up the metabolic rate, so you can kick things faster. If you have a question about either the breathing method or particularly the cold shower method, please contact our office and we will send you a copy. We'll get your email address and send you a copy of the one-page summary of the 10-week cycle. That number is 702-798-1112. We'd love to get that to you, and that, follow the directions. It starts easy. You do half a minute each day for a week, and then you're going to beef that up. Also, fasting. Now, I'm not talking about the popular intermittent fasting. I'm talking about just basic once a month going through a fast where you're fasting for most of the day, and you're allowing the digestive system not only a break, so that when it wants to do its thing, it's actually contributing to the immune system. All those enzymes are helping the immune system, and that it creates a process called autophagy. There are cells in your body that need to die, that are making you weaker, making things more difficult to do from a physiological point of view. So go ahead and do a fast. I don't recommend a lot of fasting. That can chew up some things. There are some reasons to do that, but you want to do that under a professional's care. And then the final thing I want to recommend in terms of this is laugh therapy, which we use a lot in the office, for scoliosis patients and for difficult neurological patients, autoimmune disorder patients, fragile patients, so that they can create significant recovery and increase in energy strength. I recommend twice a day laughing for 5 minutes straight. That laughter is going to create, like I say, a neuroendocrine cocktail, which is very relieving. It's very powerful. You're going to find that you have more energy and more strength after you do that. And at the end, just know your Heavenly Father loves you. He's watching over you. He is ultimately in charge. I know that He is. And you feel that as I say it. Listen, pray that He will stop this pestilence. If we were to all pray as one people, can you imagine that this might stop fairly quickly if we were to do that? So, but we hope to be helpful and that you come through this easily and with good health. And we're here when you're ready to take your life back. Thank you. Bye.